Hey there, fellow Planet X Fiction members. I'm just posting this video today to take a fun look back at where the Time and Space Project really started and how far along it's actually come. Just kind of something to show you guys. Maybe for those people just starting out on their projects that aren't really too sure of where they want to go, and maybe they're a bit younger and they need a little bit of inspiration. So I'm just gonna get started. Well, to be really honest with you guys, Of Time and Space did not start as Of Time and Space. It actually started as a project called Dragon Flare, which is actually the second episode of Time and Space. It's been edited several times over the years and never seems to ever get done. That's going to change this time, of course. I'm writing the first episode, which would actually have been the prequel to Dragon Flare. It's changed quite a bit over the years, though, so Dragon Flare is going to be a completely different project than what you see in here. Now, this is a book I made in high school in grade 11 art class. As a project, we had to make a picture book, basically, and I decided to do an art book of the Dragon Flare project I was writing at the time. I was going to read from that project today, but unfortunately my notes aren't here. They're probably at my mother's house still, so when I find those, I will read from the original text. But until that time, I'm just going to have to show you the picture books. Now, as you can see, it's definitely mine. My art has definitely come a long way since high school. I'm just going to skip by the contents and just get right to the character section. First, I'll just show you the epilogue, which is what the Lunar Wars are right now. And it's changed quite a bit because the Lunar Wars and Of Time and Space happen like 20 years apart from each other now. But originally it was a 2,000-year gap. And it's pretty much basically the same. It says 2,000 years ago an evil was created. The evil was stopped and contained by two young heroes. And now in the present day of Inus, the name of the planet has stuck around since high school, the evil is reawakening and a new hero is born to defend the world. It's pretty much the same story, only I've upped the timeline and changed the characters around, of course. This was to be the main hero of Dragon Flare. And, you know, he's pretty much the same now, only his character's changed around quite a bit and obviously not named the same. And this was the other sub-hero of Dragon Flare. He was a person who rescued him in the beginning, and that really hasn't changed either. And his name is still Vex. It's just, I don't think his last name is Chaos anymore, though. I haven't really decided yet. But he was my favorite character when I was designing this story, because I kind of based him around my personality. So, you know, he and I have gotten to know each other over the years through writing him. But, you know, a lot of the other characters have changed quite a bit. Like, some of these characters are not even going to exist anymore. But there were a lot of characters. And back in the day, this was supposed to be a Final Fantasy project that I was going to send into Squaresoft at the time, now Square Enix. So there were a lot of things based on the Final Fantasy series that I had put in here that no longer exist. but because I have changed the story around a lot to make it a lot more original. But there were quite a few characters. What you're gonna see here is the first example of an Orsted. They were called Mystics back then, but I've changed the name to Orsted over the years. They've changed quite a bit though. They still have the same height, but now they look more like your typical gray alien type character. They don't have the tails or the big claws anymore, and they have horns. Some of them have horns anyway. The males have horns going up the ridge just like these guys do. And this is like actually an Orsted. They existed back then. They were just a split race. There were the Mystics and the Orsted. The Mystics were half Orsted, half dragon, but I've kind of taken that race completely out and put in the Angelos, which are half human, half Orsted. So it's changed a little, but you know, it's still basically the same story. And then I have my bad guys, which have completely changed. And then the dragons have obviously changed. As you've seen in my latest updates, they're no longer your typical type dragon. They've gotten quite a bit different. And this was supposed to be the hero of the Lunar Wars, which wasn't named at the time, but he's obviously changed now. A similar character is still in the Lunar Wars. He's just not as main a character. I had a bunch of weapons drawn, like, just for the hell of it. I was filling pages at the end here. They all have descriptions of where they came from, why they're powerful weapons, stuff like this. And some of these names are straight out of Final Fantasy, so that obviously isn't going to be in my story right now. Let's try to get to the end here. I might add that I only had to make a 20-page book in high school, and this book goes up to like page 68, which is just crazy. My teacher was all over that. He liked it a lot. He thought I put a lot of effort into it. I might add that these were not originally in black and white. They were in color, but we had to photocopy them to bind them. So the originals, I'm not even sure where those could be right now. I'm assuming they're at my mother's house as well, in a box someplace. I'm gonna have to go through a lot of stuff when I go home, and I even drew some events out from the story. This would be the Battle Against Evil 2,000 years ago. That is completely changed. This was in the original script for Dragonflare at the beginning. And this is a mountaintop scene that was also in the original script. And this was part of the bad guy at the end. But that's obviously changed. Things that haven't changed, this obviously has. There's no longer an elemental chart of magic, but as you can see, Dragonflare is the most powerful. That hasn't changed. And this is the map of Inus. The overall structure of this map is completely the same. The names are changed completely, but as far as the map goes, it's completely the same.